Hi, I'm Chris, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. Thank you for joining me. I love the winter, and it's not just because of the horrible, watery, dirty, wet slush, or that it takes me 30 minutes to defrost the car in the mornings, or that I get to wear this amazing stylish t-shirt every year. No, none of that. The reason I love the winter so much is because of the fragrances. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about 10 stunning winter fragrances that are so good, I would never sell them. I think for people who really love fragrances, people like me and you who are really into it, we love winter because we can wear these dark, heavy, powerful, complex fragrances. They tend to be a bit richer, a bit more full-bodied, have a bit more structure to them, just a bit more distinctive. All these fragrances are that for me, so let me tell you about them. This list is a mix of designer and niche fragrances. These are just 10 stunning winter fragrances of all varieties, so there's a bit of something here for everyone. The first one is a designer, and we're starting off with some booze, some lovely whiskey, which is perfect for this time of year. From Givenchy, this is Gentleman Reserve Privé. As great as the whiskey is, there's so much more to this fragrance. There's that sexy iris. We've got some chestnuts, so we've got chestnuts roasting on an open fire vibes. There's woods, there's amber. It's a very smooth, warming scent. In my experience, there aren't that many designer fragrances that have the depth, that have the performance, that have the distinctive character that really scratches the itch for me when I wear a fragrance. That's why a lot of what we call niche fragrances work so well, because they tend to just push things a little bit more. They can sometimes just be a little bit more creative, a little bit darker, a little bit richer. They take a few more risks. I think Givenchy have done all that with this fragrance while still retaining its very wearable designer-like quality. It's never generic designer, it's interesting designer. I love this scent. The notes make it work so well in the cold winter air. This is a stunning fragrance. Another designer fragrance that does all that for me is from Tom Ford, and we can usually rely on Tom Ford to just push their boundaries a little bit, have that edge, have that depth and complexity. I really get that with Noir Extreme Parfum. So take the florals and sweet, creamy, kulfi, dessert-like scent that we get from the original, but throw in some robust leather. For me, the result of this is you get everything that was great about the first one, but with added greatness, because the leather makes it more robust, it makes it more assertive, gives it more character, makes it more powerful. I think this is a stronger fragrance. The EDP never really projected massively on me. I felt it was quite an intimate scent. This one definitely seems to project more and last longer on me. So if you want something that is really sweet and addictive that people will love to smell, but something that also has some attitude, Noir Extreme Parfum is probably the one to get. I just love talking about these fragrances at this time of year because I get to talk about notes that I love so much, leather and boozy notes, and this is another example of a great designer fragrance that utilizes a boozy note very well. It's rum, in fact, and this is Emporio Armani's Stronger With You, absolutely. That beautiful rum is poured over vanilla, chestnut, lavender and woods. I love this so much because it's doing something similar to the Givenchy, not in terms of its smell necessarily, although it does also have chestnut in, but in terms of its creativity, in terms of it being a designer fragrance that is just pushing the boundaries. It's just taking a few risks, but not so much that it's never wearable and it's divisive. It isn't. This is a highly wearable fragrance. It's a great fun scent. There's enough maturity in there because of the darkness, but then there's some fun and lively sweet notes, so it is really well balanced. One of the reasons why it works so well at winter is because of the rum. Rum is quite a Christmas wintry associated drink. You know, we have rum and white sauce on the Christmas pudding. We put rum in the Christmas cake to give it extra flavor. So the fact that rum is in here just makes it work all the better for me in the winter. Stronger With You absolutely is lovely. We've done some leather, we've done some booze, so let's do some more leather. And also, I think, a little bit of booze in this one. This is Dior Homme Parfum. Quite simply, one of the best designer fragrances ever made. We've got iris, woods, a very smooth leather, and musk mallow gives it a slight little bit of booziness, I think. As if those notes weren't wintry enough, we also get a little bit of agarwood, a bit of oud listed in this one. Whether it's genuine oud or not, I wouldn't like to say, but it is providing this robust, deep, woody quality which just cuts through the cold winter air so well. It's a very classy, refined, sophisticated, masculine smell, but masculine not in terms of it being dirty and animalic and hairs on your chest type of smell. No, this is like a sweet floral. So this is a man who is in touch with his sensitive side. That's what I love about the iris that is used in the Dior Homme line and in some of the other fragrances like the Givenchys as well. It's a note that just really vibes with me really well because obviously I'm very in touch with my sensitive side. Don't go trolling me in the comments about that because I might just cry. Anyway, you probably know Dior Parfum is a stunning masterpiece of a fragrance, and because of how dark and heavy and robust it is, perfect for the winter. The next one is probably the quintessential cozy sitting by a fireplace type of winter fragrance. So that's what they called it, by the fireplace. There's vanilla, spices, woods and chestnut. This is very cozy, inviting and addictive. They have captured the sweet smelling woods and smoke of a beautiful cozy log fire. You might think, why would I want to smell of smoke? And when I say smoke, I don't mean like a dirty smoky smell. This is the sweet smoky woods type of smell that is put into an olfactory package that is actually really wearable. It's a gorgeous winter scent. Put this on with a nice winter jumper and it would pair perfectly. Price on this is pretty good. I've seen this now selling for about £50. I think that is excellent value for what is a stunning winter fragrance.
If you love fragrance as much as I do, head over to my online store luxparfum.co.uk. You'll find my favourite brands plus brands you can't find anywhere else in the UK. Link is in the description.
Next up is a fragrance that is always on my winter list, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. If you know, you know. Spicebomb Extreme from Viktor&Rolf. Beautiful blend of vanilla, spices and tobacco. Again, like some of the other designers I've talked about in this list, takes just enough risk for it to be a really interesting but still very wearable fragrance. Obviously I love it because it's got tobacco. The vanilla in here gives it a gorgeous creaminess. Obviously the spices give it lots of pop. Bit of a spiced chai latte type of vibe to it, which is a very wintry type of drink in my opinion. It's a banger, never fails to hit the spot for me. I will always recommend this one for the winter. Let's stick with the tobacco, but also go back to the booze. This one is a fragrance that combines two of the best things about winter fragrances, tobacco and oud. Again, we're going to Mr. Tom Ford. This one is one of my winter staples, Tobacco Oud. Not terribly oudy, if I'm honest, definitely not animalic, so it's not divisive in that way. And actually, I think tobacco and whiskey might have been a better name for this. Actually, I think the whiskey is the hero note in this fragrance, despite it not being in the name. I think it is more prominent than the tobacco or the oud. It just smooths out everything. There's obviously lots of wood and the complexity of the tobacco and the darkness of that in here. You can tell because it has a lot of depth and it is quite a statement making scent, but it's also very wearable because the whiskey note just seems to smooth everything beautifully. Think of walking into a traditional gentleman's smoking club, if those places still exist. I know we're not in Victorian times anymore, but I think you could probably find them if you looked. And this gives you those vibes. It is people dressed up very smartly, smoking cigars, drinking whiskey. If that's your vibe, if you want an assertive fragrance that grabs attention and empowers you with a bit of extra confidence, I can highly recommend Tobacco Oud. We can't talk about strong winter fragrances without mentioning one from Parfum de Marly, and this is still my favourite of the whole line. There's some that come very close, but I would say still my favourite is Carlisle. It's woody, it's fruity, it's got a beautiful creamy sandalwood, and this is a powerhouse fragrance. Probably still my top one from Parfum de Marly because of its wearability. It's got the strength, it's got the power and the complexity to really work well in the winter, but the fruitiness in here, it's like an appley fruitiness, makes it a little more versatile. This has so much depth, it's so big and full-bodied and dense. This is a fragrance that lasts and lasts. One of the strongest fragrances I have. I would definitely call this a beast mode scent. So when it's winter and I want something that performs really well and it's a little bit fruity, a little bit creamy, Carlisle works every time. Another fragrance that I wear without fail every winter. I really look forward to it because I give it my first wearing at a very specific time. Kilian's Black Phantom. This is rum, coffee, burnt sugar, caramel, chocolate, all the good sweet stuff. You would think with notes like that it might be a little bit sickly, a little bit cloying. For me, it's not. It's just balanced well with everything else that is in there to make it a very wearable fragrance. You don't smell like a walking dessert. Actually, would that be a bad thing? This is such an indulgent scent. I wear this every winter when we go ice skating. There's a little rink that pops up near us. This is what I always wear. I'm in my hat and gloves and ice skating. It's a very Victorian scene, and I'm smelling of Black Phantom. I go into the little lodge next door after, and it smells of coffee and hot chocolate and rum. So it kind of smells like this fragrance. I think that's why it pairs with that experience so well. I adore this. I wear it every single winter. It is now integrated into amazing winter memories that I have. This is so good, I'll never sell it. Finishing on the booze, and this is maybe the best boozy fragrance ever made from Roja Parfums. Enigma. Tobacco, vanilla, cognac, and a whole bunch of other stuff that just makes this smell so good. If you've never smelled Enigma, a good way of giving you a bit of an idea of what it smells like is, you know, a cola float, so a Coca-Cola with vanilla ice cream in. Kind of smells a little bit like that, but add in some tobacco and the cognac. So drizzle that cola float with cognac. And by the way, did you know cognac is the only true boozy note in fragrances? It's the only one that can be extracted, I believe. All the other boozy notes like whiskey and rum are accords that are created to smell like those drinks, but cognac is the real deal, and you really get that because this is such a rich fragrance. The cognac note is so realistic because I guess it is realistic, but it works so well with the vanilla and the tobacco. And this fragrance, more than any other I have ever smelled, which is why it's my favorite fragrance of all time, smells like it never ends. You can't smell the bottom of this. It has like an infinite depth. It just draws you in and whisks you away on this beautiful, fragrant journey. I know that all sounds a little bit wanky, but that's how it makes me feel, and I love it. And of course, never selling this. So there we go, 10 winter fragrances I love that much that I could never sell them. Would you ever sell any of these, or have you sold any of these? What would be your favorite winter fragrances? I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it useful, and if you did, why not give it a like? Give it a festive, wintry like, because it really helps. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, you'll see me in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.